Hello, this is Colin Walsh from the Nightly News. Today we will be talking about the compelling stories of different regions and how they started and grew in the third period. Today we will start with East Asia.
This is Colin Remy here and Hangzhou in 650 CE in China. So Hangzhou has grown so quickly under the construction of the Grand Canal, which happened under the Sui dynasty. The Sui dynasty was very short, but they did construct the Grand Canal, which led to the increased trade and prosperity in Hangzhou. The Tang dynasty, which began in 618, utilized an efficient tributary system, which China's neighbors had to pay tribute in form of goods and even perform the ritual kowtow to the Chinese emperor. In 629, this Buddhist monk, Xuanzang, left China to pursue a pilgrimage to India. After 17 years, he returned. He's brought back so much knowledge. Xuanzang, you're watering your plants. Xuanzang, how do you feel about bringing all this knowledge to the Chinese people?
I feel very blessed. I am happy to spread my knowledge among the people.
Thank you for taking this trip. Did you have fun along your journey? Did you learn a lot?
Much fun learning along the way.
There you go, folks. This is Xuanzang. Thank you for your time.
Hi guys, this is Colin Remy. I'm here in Zhongdu in 1250, where Kublai Khan has recently conquered the weakening Song dynasty. Kublai established the Yuan dynasty and rebuilt the capital at Zhongdu, renaming it Dadu. Kublai Khan also instituted a policy of religious tolerance, gaining the loyalty of many oppressed religions such as Taoism. During this time, 17-year-old Marco Polo visited China. Marco wrote a book about his travels. He described China's immense size, wealth, and prosperity. Marco Polo says, "The hall of the palace is so large that it could easily dine 6,000 people, and it is quite a marvel to see how many rooms there are besides. The building is altogether so vast, so rich, and so beautiful that no man on earth could design anything superior to it." In this direct quote, Marco is describing the palace of the Chinese emperor.
It's your favorite salesman here, Colin Welsh.
Hi everybody. So this is what you need to know about the compass, our favorite product here at our company. The compass was made in China for the purposes of sea travel. So they used it to travel to the places they wanted to go and where they wanted to be for trade purposes or for whatever they wanted to do. Our famous compass grew in popularity because of the different trade routes, such as the Silk Road, which traveled to Asia and to different places where this could be sold. You can buy our famous compass for only 13 payments of 15,000 yen. What a compelling story about East Asia. Now we move over to East Europe, where we learn about the Russian Empire and Byzantine Empire.
Kiev and Novgorod have become very large trade cities right now due to all the massive trade coming in from the Volga and Danube rivers, as well as the Black Sea. And the Eastern Slavic language has become very highly developed in Russia and is being used in common everyday language. We are here back in Russia again. And right now there has been a lot of loss with the Byzantine Empire, with trade and just interaction overall due to their invasions of the Turks, the Persians, and the Bulgars. Also, many princes from Moscow, Kiev, and Novgorod have had to pay tribute to the Mongols due to their invasion of Russia and creating the Tartar yoke. However, they have been able to keep their culture and their religion of Eastern Orthodox Christianity. However, the Mongols may be in Russia, but there are many rebellions going on in Russia to stop the Tartar yoke and end Mongol rule in Russia. Some people believe that Ivan III is in charge because he was become the king of Russia in 1462 and has been very against the Mongols, and some believe he is secretly plotting to end the Mongol rule for once and for all in Russia. Since our last visit was Russia in 990, the Mongols have created the Tartar yoke, as well as Russia has gone from being a bunch of city-states such as Novgorod and Kiev and Moscow to becoming having more of a unifying force than it did before.
Wow, isn't East Europe so compelling? Well, before we move on to Sub-Saharan Africa, here's a quick comparison for you. So, the Swahili Coast, a large trade hub and large trade center.
Here we are in the Sub-Saharan Africa on the Swahili Coast underneath the Sahara, where we speak a mixture of Bantu and Arabic. We run a lot of trade here in the Swahili Coast along the Indian Ocean. pretty much everything along any coast along the Indian Ocean is, routed back to us. Here, we make a lot of money off of selling gold that we mine in the country. And we expanded our trade routes by utilizing the winds of the Indian Ocean. Here we are again on the Swahili coast, underneath the Saharan Desert, which is to say, sub-Saharan Africa. We have just discovered how to cultivate bananas, and we're making big bank off of it. Here in the stone city of Zanzibar, there's a lot of rocks, and the houses are built from those rocks. Oh no, but something's changing. Whoa, there's a lot of change going on now. As you can clearly see, there are a lot of Portuguese people who have colonized, and now our lovely, wonderful nationalist nation of the Swahili coast in sub-Sahara Africa is falling, and we're becoming Portuguese. A clear continuity of the area that was known as the Swahili coast was that it was a powerful trade hub and ran much of India's oceanic trade for its entire lifetime until it was taken down by the Portuguese.
And your least favorite salesman, Charles Robertello.
I'm selling the saddle. The Sarmatians came up with it in like 350 AD, and the idea was like spread around by the Chinese, like Huns. More expression. So they the saddle was like, well, it facilitated trade, and made everything like basically travel related super easy. And they it let you ride on a horse and on a camel. The saddle was like integral, I guess, to the Mongol expansion throughout all of Asia, except for India. They never got conquered. The Chinese sold it for like 100,000 million yen or something. We're not selling it for that. Like 20,000 should be fine.
Here's a quick comparison for you. So the Swahili coast, a large trade hub and large trade center, is just like the Chinese coast because they both revolve around large centers of trade, like trade hubs and stuff like that, because it's the main source of their income and it's their main source of livelihood, society, and culture created. But the Swahili coast had all of the Indian Ocean and surrounding civilizations and the Indian Ocean winds, which attracted travel at certain times of the year, but it was booming at the time. These societies also had a major difference. So the Bantus who traveled south used bananas for their travel and for migration, while southern China used it to grow their population and grow as a community. Well, I'd love to stay on the topic of the sub-Saharan Africa. We do have to move on to the Middle East with John Pearsall.
Hi, I'm reporting here from the House of Wisdom in Baghdad, and currently in the Middle East, there are pre-Islamic peoples, or the Bedouins, which are polytheistic people that are nomadic as well, and their holy land is in Mecca. Also in the area, there's a new thriving religion, Islam. Islam is the fastest growing major religion, and it spans from Persia to Spain. It highlights the 5 pillars, and it has caliphs ruling, with areas called caliphates. The Umayyad dynasty eventually did fall to the Abbasid dynasty as well. I'm here with Ibn Battuta. How are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. In your travels, how would you describe Western African culture?
The culture in West Africa primarily stayed relatively the same, even with the influence of Islam. Many long-standing traditions stayed the same in these areas as well.
Were there mass conversions of Islam in West Africa?
Islam's arrival did not prompt mass conversions. However, it profoundly affected politics, economics, and culture.
What was life like in the Middle East?
While in the Middle East, I spent a large portion of my time studying. In Mecca, I spent a month taking part in all of the ritual experiences. I then left and journeyed throughout the Middle East, studying and praying. Overall, it was a very holy experience in the Middle East.
Thank you for your time, Ibn. Hi, since my last visit to Baghdad, the Abbasid dynasty has fell due to attacks from outside forces such as the Mamluks, Seljuk Turks, Crusaders, and Mongols, as well as economic issues. Also, during this time period, the Crusades, which is a battle of the Holy Land, or Jerusalem, is happening from 1095 to 1291, which is a battle between the Islamic forces and Christian forces. The Islamic Golden Age, which is a time of improvement in the fields of education and wisdom, which ended in 1258 AD, is happening now, and a main place contributing to this is Baghdad.
So to review, we started with the Chinese Empire. In southern China, we had the city of Hangzhou. And in northern China, we had the city of Zhongdu. A change in continuity for the region of China was the religious tolerance put in place by Kublai Khan. A big regional change was the empire the dynasty that Kublai Khan established after conquering the Song dynasty. Kublai Khan established the Yuan dynasty and changed much of the Chinese Empire. Next, we went to the Middle East, to the city of Baghdad, which is still in place today. The Middle East is this region around here, and Baghdad is in present-day Iraq and still stands today. Next, we go to Russia and Western Europe. We looked at cities such as Moscow and Novgorod, both of which still stand today. This whole region over here is Western Europe, with Moscow being right here and Novgorod a little to the north. Then, we went to sub-Saharan Africa, consisting of this region down here. We looked at the Swahili coast, which is this eastern coast of Africa, and the large Swahili city-states.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our compelling stories of these amazing regions. Hope you see you next time. I'm your host, Colin Walsh, with the news.